Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Srivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavanam ki jai. Maturadam ki jai. Jagadavasami ki jai. Yamunamai ki jai. Shrimati Lasi Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sadhma Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prastaya Budle. Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi. Gauravani Charani Nivasesha Sunivadi Pasachati Shatarani. Okay, let me reset the volume. So, all right, volume is high now. If you don't like it, too bad. So, anyway, so we're going to continue reading from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. That's just a rascal on the screen. Don't pay attention. So anyway, okay, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
All right, so we're going to share the screen now. Here we go. So, Magana Timidanda Shah Gananjana Shlakya Chakshura Mriditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, we'll continue reading. We actually read this one verse. It's the next verse we were just at. It's a long verse. And of course, remember, this is the result of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving Advaita Acharya a guilt trip. Because Advaita Acharya wanted to touch Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got so upset because of the violation of etiquette that he jumped into the Ganga, and Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur had to drag him back. And then he told them, I'm going to hide myself, and you just tell everybody that you don't know what happened to me. So he went to the house of Nandan Acharya, and Advaita Acharya was feeling so guilty he was fasting. And he later on repented for taking Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's the dust from his feet. But anyway, it's an interesting interaction between the Lord and his various features. So here's Advaita Acharya's statements. You always treat me in such a way that I become proud, and as a result I suffer. O Lord, in other words, you make me proud, and you make me suffer. It's your fault. You've awarded everyone else the topmost mood of service, but you show me reverence. You yourself inspire me, and then you punish me. You speak one thing and think another. You are my life, wealth, body, and mind, yet still you give me misery. This is your opulence. O Lord, please give me the mood of service and keep me at your feet as the son of your maidservant. Sounds very similar to the mood of the gopis. Krishna, you make me suffer, but if that gives you happiness, let me always remain your servant. And hearing the words of Advaita, Sri Gaurasundar spoke to him in front of all the Vaishnavas. Listen, O Acharya, I'm telling you the truth. Just consider this example that I am narrating. When a royal administrator goes before the king, the guards place a request before him. And when the royal administrator meets the king and conveys the guards' requests, he collects their wages and then distributes them to the guards, who along with their families survive on that. If such a royal administrator, before whom the guards place their requests, makes an offense, then by the order of the king, those same guards do not hesitate to execute him. Oh, oh my God. On one hand, the royal administrator is entrusted with the responsibility of ruling the kingdom, and on the other hand, he is killed for his offense. In the same way, Krishna is the king of kings, while Brahma and Shiva, the creator and annihilator, are his servants. Long purport. He gives the power to create, so if he awards punishment, no one can protest. Consorts like Lakshmi and personalities like Shiva also receive punishment from Krishna, yet the Lord always forgives the offenses of his servants. If Krishna punishes one for his offense, then I tell you that he is the servant of Krishna, birth after birth. In other words, what's being spoken here is that when Krishna directly punishes someone, that indicates a close relationship. We were talking about that before, that where there's more heaviness in a relationship, that means it's very close. Like we see with Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj and some of his Prabhupada's very close associates. There was a lot of heaviness in the relationship. Like there's that famous story when Tamal Krishna Maharaj was stealing devotees in North America. The North American temple presidents complained to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, what are we going to do with you? And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, what do they want to do with me? Send me to China. And then Prabhupada called him back, and Prabhupada said, Krishna spoke through your mouth. You should go to China. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, I'm not going. And because he was a surrendered devotee, Prabhupada could heavy him out. And Prabhupada said, if you don't go, I'm taking away all your service from you. And you just have to sit here and chant. So it was a heavy exchange, actually. It wasn't light. So in other words, Krishna punishes one for his offense. So if Krishna is direct, if the Yamaraj punishes one for their offense, then that doesn't mean they're a servant of Krishna birth after birth. But if Krishna directly punishes one, that's pretty nectarian.
But then how can we differentiate?
Well, if you're actually a devotee, it's Krishna. Once you take up devotional service and initiation, then it's actually Krishna punishing you, not Yamaraj anymore. Get up, take bath, and perform your worship. In other words, he's telling Advaita Acharya, you're my close associate. That's basically what he's telling him. He said, just cool down. Get up, take bath, and perform your worship. Then take your meal without anxiety. And hearing the Lord's words, Advaita became joyful, realizing that he was punished as a servant. He laughed. Isn't it? I mean, that's actually the most nectarian thing, to have Krishna directly punish you. You can crush me by your embrace, leave your broken heart by not being present before me. I'm completely free. Your complete will remain my Lord unconditionally, birth after birth. Now I can say, you are my Lord. Then he danced in ecstasy. When Advaita Acharya heard the Lord's words of assurance, he was overwhelmed in ecstasy and forgot the previous distress he had felt due to separation. All the Vaishnavas felt great ecstasy, and Haridas and Nityananda began to laugh. Due to misfortune, some people are deprived of relishing the topics of these most ecstatic pastimes of the Lord. Shri Advaita Prabhu is the recipient of Lord Chaitanya's love. Due to illusion, some people consider such opulence as insignificant. Do not think that servant implies insignificance. The Lord does not accept one as a servant if he is less fortunate. Long purport. First, one attains liberation, then his material bondage is destroyed, then he can become a servant of Lord Krishna. Of course, we don't have to go through all these different stages. We can become the servant of Krishna directly by Prabhupada's mercy. Commentators on the scriptures explain that liberated souls worship Krishna who enjoys transcendental pastimes. The servants of Krishna have the power of Krishna. If they commit any offense, Krishna punishes them. Some neophytes consider such devotees of Krishna as insignificant and constantly quarrel with them. Know for certain they are all most sinful. Therefore, they do not actually support any Vaishnava. Anyone who has even the slightest doubt that Gaurachandra is the Lord of all is sinful and his devotion is not pure. Some instruct their ass and fox-like disciples. Go and meditate on me as Ramachandra. In other words, personal philosophy. Meditate on me because I am Ramachandra. Actually, it might be something interesting in the purport. Yeah. The followers of impersonalism, which is accepted as heart by those in the Ramanandi Jamayet Sampradaya, is widely accepted. The followers of the philosophy of Shaiva Vishtadvaita propagate Shivoham, I am Shiva. The followers of the Ramananda Jamayat Sampradaya temporarily worship Lord Ramchandra. Sri Kanta's worship of Shiva is similar. Therefore, not remaining confined to the consideration of simply Shivoham, persons like, he's addressing Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur as addressing some people who were present at that particular time. Persons like Apyaya Dikshita preach the philosophy of impotent Brahman. We don't have to go through the whole purport. There can be nothing superior to becoming the servant of Lord Chaitanya, who has the power to create, maintain, and annihilate. Lord Balaram supports unlimited universes, yet he is the servant of the Lord. What then to speak of ordinary persons? All glory is to Lord Nityananda Haladhara, by whose mercy the glories of Lord Chaitanya manifest. By his mercy, one develops attachment for Lord Chaitanya. Whatever I speak is due to his mercy. Shri Gaura Sundar is the Lord of my heart. Is Lord of my Lord. I constantly keep this conviction in my heart, accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul. I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends this English translation of the Gaudiya Bhasha commentary on Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, Majja Khanda, chapter 17, entitled Lords Wandering Throughout Navadvip and Descriptions of the Devotees' Glories. Chapter 18, Mahaprabhu's Dancing as a Gopi. Let's skip the chapter summary. All glories to Gaurachandra, the benefactor of the entire universe. O Lord, please place your lotus feet within my heart. All glories to the life and soul of Nityananda Swarup. All glories to the Lord, who is affectionate to his devotees and who is the abode of all good qualities. All glories to Gauranga with his devotees. By hearing topics about Lord Chaitanya, one attains devotional service. In this way, Lord Vishwambar constantly remained absorbed in the mellows of Sankirtan while residing in Navadvip. O brothers, please hear with fixed mind the topics of the Majjhikanda, which describe how the Lord danced in the dress of Lakshmi. One day the Lord informed everyone, "Today we will perform a drama according to the prescribed rules." The Lord called Sadat Shiva and Buddhimanta Khan and told them, "Arrange for some costumes. Collect conch shells, bodices, silk saris." It's obvious some people are going to be dressed as women. And ornaments suitable for all participants. Gadadhar will dress as Rukmini, because actually Gadadhar was in the mood of Rukmini, even though he's considered an incarnation or expansion of Srimati Radharani. The reason he's in the mood of Rukmini is that Rukmini had the submissive bhav in relationship to Krishna, whereas Satyabhama, who is a direct expansion of Srimati Radharani, had the unsubmissive bhav. So Satyabhama could nag Krishna, and Krishna had to listen. But Rukmini would never nag Krishna. No matter what, she was very tolerant. And if Krishna teased her, she never teased back. And so, like Krishna teased her by telling her when she was a grandmother that you married the wrong guy here. So you should get a divorce. You should have married Shishupal. He was kind of a nice guy. Nobody knows my background. And instead of arguing with Krishna or just laughing at the whole thing, she just fainted. Krishna had to manifest 2 extra arms just to catch her. So Gadadhar is in the mood of Rukmini. He's very submissive. He doesn't talk back or chastise Lord Chaitanya at all. So Gadadhar will dress as Rukmini, and Brahmananda will be her elderly female companion named Supravaha. Now remember, Brahmananda is actually a sannyasi. Shoo. See, a sannyasi dresses as a woman. Maybe we should do a play like that here. I would not do that. If Krishna asked, then I would. I'd be thrown out of the Hare Krishna movement. Nityananda will be my grandmother. So Lord Nityananda will actually dress as a lady too. It's interesting. And Haridas will be a guard who will keep everyone alert. Shivas will dress as Narda, and Sri Rama will be someone who has just bathed. Shriman will volunteer to hold the torch. Advaita said, "Who will dress as the hero?" The Lord replied, "The hero will be Gopinath, who is sitting on the throne." I guess the deity will be the hero. So no one dresses Krishna. O Buddhimanta, go quickly and arrange the costumes so that I may dance. Accepting the Lord's order on their heads, Sadashiva and Buddhimanta returned home in unlimited ecstasy. They immediately raised the canopy made in Katiyara and prepared many attractive costumes. After collecting the necessary costumes, Buddhimanta Khan brought them before the Lord. On seeing the costumes, the Lord was satisfied at heart. He spoke to the Vaishnavas as follows: "I will dance as the Lord's potency. Only one who is self-controlled is qualified to watch." Please don't start greeting the deities in the middle class. Only those who are in control of their senses will be allowed to remain within the house. Realizing, because they're going to have, normally these ladies wouldn't watch, these devotees wouldn't watch ladies dance. And so even, because they're concerned with becoming attracted, even though many of them, some of them were sannyasis and some of them were brahmacharis, like Shuklambara brahmachari, and some of them were householders. So generally, to watch ladies dance is not really something for men to do. Sorry about that. And, anyway, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. I'll just mention one thing. Like when Prabhupada had some people dancing in front of him, some ladies dancing in front of him, and there's a video, and Prabhupada's just looking the other way, because they were dancing for Prabhupada's pleasure. But anyway, whatever. It's the modern world. So because of that, they thought they would get attracted to even the men dressed as ladies. That's hard to understand how they'd be attracted. Nowadays they have this thing called drag shows. You have them here?
Yes.
Yeah, where men dress as ladies. And it's very popular. People spend so much money to go see them. They spend more money to go see them than to see ladies dance. Prabhupada gave the example. He said, nobody will pay money to see a dog bark. But when a human being barks like a dog, they'll pay money for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, people are so crazy. So, realizing that the Lord would dance in the dress of the Lakshmi, all the Vaishnavas felt great happiness. But when they heard the Lord's strict order, that means someone who is not completely free from lust, they can't be here. They became filled with lamentation because they thought they weren't allowed to be there. Scratching a line on the ground, Advaitacharya was the first to speak. I am unable to see the dance today. I am not in control of my senses, so I will not attend. There's their humility, obviously. They were in control of their senses. Srivas Pandit said, I was going to say the same thing. So they were all very upset. On hearing their words, the Lord slightly smiled and said, if you do not go, then who will attend the dance? Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of all enjoyers, again declared, do not worry. Today you will all become great mystic yogis. None of you will be bewildered by seeing me dance. Upon hearing the Lord's declaration, Advaita, Srivasa, and all other devotees became overjoyed. Lord Vishwambar and his associates then went to the house of Chandrasekhara Acharya. Mother Sachi and her daughter-in-law went there to see the Lord's wonderful dance in the role of Lakshmi. The family members of all the Vaishnavas also accompanied Mother Sachi to see the dance. This was the limit of Chandrasekhara's good fortune, for the Lord manifested this pastime at his house. Upon arriving there, the Lord sat down with all the Vaishnavas and then ordered them to dress in their costumes. With folded hands, Advaita repeatedly asked, O Lord, tell me, which dress should I wear? The Lord replied, all the costumes are yours. Put on whichever you wish. Advaita had no external consciousness. What need did he have for a costume? The Lord of Shantipura wandered around with his eyebrows in a frown. He danced in various moods like an expert jester and floated in an ocean of bliss. A tumultuous vibration of Krishna's names arose there. All the Vaishnavas became overwhelmed in ecstasy. Mukunda began to lead kirtan as follows. Rama, Krishna, Bala, Hari, Gopal, Govinda. Haridas Thakur appeared first on the stage. His charming face was decorated with a long handlebar mustache. You know what a handlebar mustache is? We had them in America. It was like out like this.
Oh.
No, like out, like handlebar. Like, I got a handlebar on a motorcycle or something like that. They come out like that.
Yeah.
Long, pointed. Just imagine putting your hands on a handlebar. That's why it's called a handlebar mustache. So it was really funny. He was dressed in a loincloth and his head was adorned with a large turban. With a stick in his hand, he cautioned everyone, "Oh, brothers, get ready. The life and soul of the universe will now dance in the dress of Lakshmi." As he ran about with a stick in his hand, alerting everyone, the hairs of his body stood on end out of love for Krishna. Haridas proudly invited everyone, worship Krishna, serve Krishna, chant Krishna's names. Everyone laughed as they watched Haridas. They inquired, "Who are you? Why are you here?" Haridas replied, "I'm a watchman of Vaikuntha. I always wander around awakening people to Krishna consciousness. The Lord has left Vaikuntha and come here. he will distribute pure love of God everywhere. Today he will personally dance in the dress of Lakshmi. Therefore, carefully plunder that ecstatic love today. After speaking in this way, he curled his mustache and ran about with Murari Gupta. These two dear servants of Krishna were both overwhelmed and loved, for Gaura Chandra enjoyed his pastimes in their bodies. Shortly thereafter, Srivas joyfully came on stage dressed as Narada. He had a long white beard, and his entire body was decorated with dots of sandalwood paste. He carried a veena on his shoulder and kusha grass in his hand, and he looked all around. Rama Pandit followed behind him with a water pot in his hand and a straw mat under his arm. Ramai Pandit offered him the straw mat to sit on. It appeared as though Narada had personally appeared there. And actually, Srivas Thakur was Narada Muni. On seeing Srivas's dress, everyone laughed. Adwaita questioned him in a grave voice. "Who are you? Why have you come here?" Srivas replied, "Please hear my words. My name is Narada. I sing Krishna's glories while wandering throughout innumerable universes. I went to Vaikuntha to see Krishna, but I heard that Krishna had gone to Nadia. I saw that the houses in Vaikuntha were vacant. I could not find any men, women, or families there. I could not remain in a deserted Vaikuntha, so remembering the Lord, I came here. Today the Lord will dance in the dress of Lakshmi. Therefore I have entered this assembly." After hearing Srivas speak words that were befitting Narada, all the Vaishnavas laughed and chanted, "Jai, Jai." Srivas Pandit looked just like Narada with the same form, same words, and same characteristics. Mother Sachi and all the other chaste ladies all became absorbed in the nectarian mellows of Krishna consciousness as they watched. Mother Sachi asked Malini, that's Srivas Thakur's wife, "Is that Srivas Pandit?" Malini replied, "Yes, it certainly is." Mother Sachi was a great Vaishnavi and the mother of the universe. She was struck with wonder on seeing Srivas's form. Mother Sachi fell unconscious out of ecstasy. Everyone was astonished to see that there was no sign of life in her body. The chaste ladies there softly chanted the names of Krishna into her ear. As Mother Sachi regained her external consciousness, she remembered Govinda. Although the chaste ladies tried to pacify her, they were unable. In this way, everyone inside and outside the room lost external consciousness and began to cry. As Lord Vishwambara put on his dress inside one of the rooms, he became fully absorbed in the mood of Rukmini. Being absorbed in the mood of Rukmini, the Lord forgot himself and considered himself the daughter of the Vidarbha king. He then began to write a letter using his tears as ink on the ground as paper and his fingers as pen. He cried as he read Rukmini's letter, consisting of 7 verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Supreme Lord becomes the husband of one who hears the purport of these 7 verses. And these are the verses. "O beauty of the worlds. After hearing of your qualities, the insurmountable threefold miseries have been destroyed. Seeing your form is like attaining a great treasure. Such a form is seen only by one who has been awarded suitable eyes by the Creator. O lion-like personality of the Yadu dynasty, by hearing the descriptions of your glories, my heart has shamelessly been drawn to you. What chaste, sober woman of this world would not worship your lotus feet upon receiving the opportunity? Without you, one's education, family, character, wealth, beauty, dress, and residence are all useless. O Tri Dasa Rai, please forgive my arrogance, for I am unable to control my heart, which wants to merge with you." All of these are Rukmini's statements. "That is why I have accepted your lotus feet as my life and soul. I have offered my mind, life, intelligence to you. Please make me your maidservant by accepting me as your wife. Do not let me become the object of Shishupala's enjoyment. O Lord, please accept me, because what is meant for the lion should not be taken by the jackal." If I have actually observed my vows, given in charity, worshipped the gurus, brahmanas, and demigods, or served the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then, O Gada Graja, I pray for the benediction that you become the Lord of my life and drive away Shishupal. Such wonderful verses from the Bhagavatam. My marriage is fixed for tomorrow, so come quickly today without delay. Stay secretly near Vidarabhapura, and later enter the city with your army. After defeating Shishupal, Shalva, and Jarasandha, display your strength by kidnapping me. And what I mentioned in the purport, this is a Rakshasa type of marriage, which is bona fide. Rakshasa marriage, you kidnap the girl. O Lord, now is the time to manifest your pride. Your wife is never meant to be usurped by Shishupal. I submit at your lotus feet a means by which you may kidnap me without killing my any well-wishers. There is a custom in our family that the day before the marriage, the bride-to-be goes to the temple of goddess Bhalani. O Lord, take advantage of this opportunity to kidnap me. Do not kill any well-wisher and forgive me for my offenses. If you do not bless me with the dust of your lotus feet, which is desired by the husband of Uma and other great personalities, then I vow to end my life. O lotus-eyed Lord, I will continue to give up bodies birth after birth until I attain your invaluable lotus feet. O Brahmana, go quickly and inform Krishna of my desire. In this way the Lord spoke in the mood of Rukmini as all the Vaishnavas cried and smiled in ecstatic love. Such blissful pastimes took place at the house of Chandrasekhara. The loud vibration of Hari's names filled the four directions. Haridas Prabhu called to everyone, "Wake up! Wake up!" as Srivas Pandit danced in the dress of Narada. After 3 hours passed with these blissful scenes, Gadadhar came on stage. He happily wandered about with Brahmananda, who accompanied Gadadhar in the role of his female companion, Suprabha. With a stick in one hand, a basket under the other arm, and dressed in fine cotton cloth, Brahmananda looked just like an elderly lady. Haridas called out, "Who are you?" Brahmananda replied, "We are going to Mathura." Srivas asked, "Who are your husbands?" Brahmananda then said, "Why are you asking?" Srivas said, "Is it not proper for us to know?" Brahmananda shook his head and replied, "That's right." Gadadhar inquired, Gangadas inquired, "Where will you stay today?" Brahmananda said, "You will give us a place." Gangadas then said, "You are asking too much. There's no need to ask. Go somewhere else." Advaita said, "There's no need for such questions. Others' wives are equal to one's mother. Why embarrass them?" My Lord is fond of dancing and singing, so dance here and you will attain great wealth. Gadadhar was most satisfied in hearing the words of Advaita. He then began to dance in ecstatic love. Gadadhar danced wonderfully in the dress of Rama, the goddess of fortune, as his companion sang appropriate songs. Who would not become overwhelmed and cry on seeing the dancing of Gadadhar? Drenched by tears of love flowing like a river from Gadadhar's eyes, the earth considered herself fortunate. Gadadhar appeared like the personification of the Ganges. In fact, he is the potency of Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya has repeatedly declared, "Gadadhar is my consort in Vaikuntha." Those who sang and those who watched all floated in waves of ecstatic love. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, they lost all external consciousness. All the Vaishnavas cried as they chanted, "Huri, Huri!" A commotion of ecstasy arose among them. The sound of crying and ecstatic love for Krishna was heard everywhere as the son of Madhava danced in the dress of a gopi. At that time, Vishwambara, the Lord of Lords, came on the stage dressed as the supreme goddess, this Lakshmi. Nityananda, in the dress of an elderly lady, floated in waves of ecstasy as he hobbled about in a bent position on stage in front of the Lord. All the Vaishnavas loudly chanted together, Jaya, Jaya! Lord Vishwambara was disguised in such an enchanting dress that no one could recognize him. Since the Lord walked behind Nityananda Prabhu, who was the Lord's elderly lady companion, everyone could understand this is the Lord. Otherwise, no one could recognize him by his dress. Has Kamala, that's Lakshmi, directly appeared from the ocean? Has Janaki, the wife of the lion of the Raghu dynasty, come? Has Mahalakshmi or Parvati appeared? Has the treasure of Vrindavan personally come? Is she Ganga? Is she compassion personified, or is she Mahamaya, the enchanter of Lord Shiva? In this way, everyone was bewildered and unable to recognize the Lord. Even those who saw the Lord since his birth could not recognize him at all. What to speak of others, even Mother Sachi could not recognize him. She said, has Lakshmi come to dance? In other words, it was such a custom was perfect. We got time.
Yeah. No.
Has Lord Hari personally become the inconceivable transcendental goddess of all mystic perfections and the personification of devotional service? On seeing this form, even Lord Shiva, the best of all demigods, and Parvati became illusioned. But the assembled Vaishnavas were not bewildered because of the benediction they had previously received. The Lord became like an ocean of mercy to everyone. In their hearts they all accepted him as their mother. Feeling as if their mother had come from the spiritual world, they cried in ecstasy and forgot themselves. As Advaita and the other devotees saw the Lord in this way, they floated in an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna. As Vishwambara danced in the mood of the Mother of the Universe, his followers sang appropriate songs. No one was certain in which consort's mood the Lord Narayan was dancing. When he inquired, O Brahmana, has Krishna come? It was understood that he was in the mood of a young lady of Vidarbha. That's Rukmini. When the devotees saw tears of ecstasy flow from his eyes, they considered him to be the Ganges personified. When he laughed loudly in ecstatic love, he appeared to everyone just like Mahachandi. When the Lord staggered about while dancing, he appeared like Revati after she had drunk some intoxicating beverage. Revati is the wife of Lord Balaram. And in the spiritual world, there's also intoxication. I mean, there's some stories that when Krishna and the gopis were drinking honey wine, they became so intoxicated when they were pouring the honey wine, they poured it on the wrong side of the glass and went all over the place. So everything's there in the spiritual world, even intoxication. I mean, just like today, I was walking on the road. I wasn't intoxicated. But there were all sorts of beer cans all over. Did you notice that? Because Sunday or Saturday is a time for intoxication for people. But there's nothing wrong with intoxication if it's done for Krishna. Not in this world. Another time, yeah, you can't dovetail it. I don't think you can dovetail. Well, you can come intoxicated and chanting and dancing in the holy name. But not that we should take intoxication. But if you really want to take intoxication, you go back to the spiritual world. And you can do it with Krishna. Another time when or Balaram. Another time when he said, oh, come, dear old lady, let us go to Vrindavan, they understood that he was in the mood of a beautiful girl from Gokula. So he was just like switching his moods from one manifestation of Radharani, because Radharani is the Adi Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and she expands as the principal gopis, especially Lalita and Vishaka, and they expand as the wives of Krishna and Dwarka, and they expand as the Lakshmis. And then finally, when you get expansion, then you even get Durga in the material world. So these are all expansions of the Shakti Tattva of the Lord. Radharani's Adi Shakti, the original Shakti. When he sat for meditation in the Burah Shada posture, Everyone saw him as the goddess of millions of perfections. As the Lord danced in the dress of Rukmini, he manifested the role of all of his various consorts from innumerable universes. In other words, he had Sita Devi, Lakshmi, and of course Radharani and Rukmini, and unlimited consorts Krishna has. So he had manifested this mood. The Lord manifested this pastime to check everyone from criticizing his energies or consorts. So that's our philosophy, Achincha, Beta, Beta, Abeta, Tattva, that Krishna's energies are the same and different from Krishna simultaneously, inconceivably. So by respecting the universal and transcendental energies of Krishna, one's devotion to Krishna becomes fixed. That's important. So it's not that we should only focus on Krishna. We should actually understand that Krishna's energies, in one sense, are non-different from Krishna. Different and non-different simultaneously, Achincha. Krishna is unhappy when the demigods are offended. If one worships Krishna along with his associates, he is pleased. Whatever Lord Krishna Chandra teaches is the truth. Only unfortunate sinful persons do not accept it. Vishwambara thus danced in the form of his various consorts. No one had ever seen such an enchanting dance. Those who saw, those who heard, and those who sang with the Lord all floated in waves of the ocean of ecstatic love. The tears of even one of those Vaishnavas were sufficient to create a flood. The lion-like Gora danced in the dress of the Supreme Goddess as his servants, who were like bees at his lotus feet, joyfully watched. Lord Chaitanya became the personification of devotional service with no end to his shivering, perspiring, hair standing on end, and shedding of tears. The Lord held Nityananda's hand as he danced. Who has the power to describe the nature of his sidelong glance? Sriman Pandit held a lamp before the Lord, and Haridas alerted everyone in the four directions. Okay, we're going to end here and take some questions. Too much ecstasy today. Let's see what people ask. Oh, there's a question. We'll get to that question in a second. All right. So let's allow. Well, of course, we're not allowing people to unmute because we've got enough people here. Who wants to ask the question? Yes.
So, Lord Chaitanya came to teach us how to chant and dance and go
Yeah.
to Godhead, and we are kind of told to follow his example and not Krishna's.
Yeah.
So, like, some people may start thinking, well, he cross-dressed. Should we? So it's bound.
Yeah, but that was only for his intimate devotees. He didn't cross-dress and go on the internet.
But
Public.
That raises the question, for.
So should we cross-dress?
No, I know that some.
No, there's no problem. Actually, another point is the Vaishnava tradition is when you had plays, the men would play the parts of women. So that's not wrong. Because this is a drama. He's not cross-dressing is not bad. I mean, sometimes you have girls play the part of boys in plays. I remember we have our dance performances in New Goloka, and all the dancers are girls, obviously. And some of the girls one girl plays the part of Krishna. We had this one beautiful play, which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's play of The Box. You know that story?
Yeah.
And and the girl was actually Krishna. One of the girls was actually Krishna. And she was carried by another girl who was supposed to be Abhimanyu to Krishna, and then she jumps out of the box. So you can have cross-dressing.
Yeah.
That's not one against the regulated principles.
But, when I was in Fiji, I stayed in Osori at a house for medical school visits. I was on placement, and there were Gujarati people. They had pictures on their walls of some sannyasi who was, dressed in gopi bhav.
Well, that's a different thing.
So are they Vaishnavas? And which sampradaya?
I don't know what sampradaya that sannyasi was in, so I can't
But that's
criticize.
not encouraged.
But it's not. No, that's called Saki Beki. That's one of the deviant Vaishnava sects. Like, if I do that, let's say one day I show up with lipstick. Oh my God.
Like Sahajiya? Sahajiya.
Well, it's called Saki Beki. There's different types of deviant Vaishnava sects where men, as part of their sadhana, they will dress up. So if I was to appear like that one day, as part of my sadhana, that I'm just getting in the mood of a gopi, then I would be a deviant. But if we were putting on a play, I mean, it's hard to imagine how I would do it. But anyway, let's say Krishna Chandra said, Guru Maharaj, we've arranged a play here, and you're playing the part of Surpanaka in the play. That would be kind of fun. I would like to do that, actually. That would not be sahaja, And so I'd have to put on long nails and everything like that. And have a pillow under my shirt, Yeah, I actually would like that. Because that would be a real funny part.
In Fiji.
I'd say, Ram, I love you. I think I would enjoy doing something like that. I mean, I don't think I'd want to dress as Radharani or anything like that, but some funny character like that, I would have a lot of fun.
Like in Fiji, like in the South Indian culture,
Yeah.
there's a Tirikuttu dance. I grew up, every year we had that, Tirikuttu dance.
Yeah.
Like the men would then...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All the time they would dress up as different...
That's fine. I mean, like I said, the traditional plays, at least in Bengal, you wouldn't have ladies
Yeah.
doing drama. It would only be men doing the drama, and the men would play the part of ladies.
Even in Nambasa, when they used to do Ram Leela, all the characters were like boys.
Yeah.
Even Sita was a boy.
Yeah, boys. And also in Vrindavan, when you have these, not exactly, it's like worshiping Krishna, with the boys dress up as Radha and Krishna, and you're supposed to do arti to them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with that. The whole point is if you do it as part of your sadhana, if you do it as a play, I mean, it'd be interesting to see Krishna Chandra in a female form.
I was once.
You did?
Once, yeah, once.
What play?
I was a pregnant lady.
Hare Krishna play?
Yeah. In Nambasa.
Oh.
I guess
So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense that it was with intimate associates, and that that's, because a lot of people, like right now at New Govardhan, every weekend it's CC classes, and
Yeah.
very closely linked with Chaitanya Bhagavat. So a lot of questions are coming about, why Lord Chaitanya did this, and why can't we do this? One of the main questions was answered yesterday.
Because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in the mood of Radharani, and you're not. Krishna, you're not Radharani.
Yeah, one of the questions yesterday was why is he not allowing everybody to come when he's actually supposed to be freely distributing love of Godhead? But it makes sense when there are pastimes like this happening to have intimate associates.
Yeah, I mean, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing his innermost mood. And if we do a play, we're not revealing, we're just like playing a part of someone who we are not. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, well, he's not Radharani, but he's fully manifesting the mood of his, and he's Krishna. This is not just a play. It's a manifestation of bhavas, of one's internal bhavas. If I do a play, it's not like if I play Surpanaka, that's not my eternal bhava. Hopefully. Here's a question. Someone asked a question online here. My mind got confused. Oh, here. Hare Krishna Maharaj. We are told to fix our mind on Krishna, but also fixed on pleasing devotees. Which comes first? Pleasing devotees comes first. My mind got confused while doing japa today. Well, welcome to the group. Who do we put first in our service and mind, Krishna or Spirit? It's a nice way to get confused just thinking about that. Well, by serving Krishna's devotees, we're serving Krishna. You can't differentiate the two. I've questioned several questions, but I will ask them tonight. Who's this?
Jade.
Jade, I think
That girl who
Oh, Jade,
was
yeah.
asking
Oh, okay, Jade, yeah.
for the new devotee.
Yeah, you can ask the questions tonight. Yeah, so thinking of serving Krishna's devotees is the same as serving Krishna. You can't differentiate the two. Okay, who else has a question? Yeah.
It was mentioned there that the Lord enjoyed the pastimes in the bodies of Advaitacharya and
Yeah.
some other
Yeah, yeah,
associates.
yeah.
So what does it mean? Like,
Well, Krishna's in the heart of all of his associates, and he enjoys the pastimes as they're performing the pastimes. So Krishna's the enjoyer. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, we find that Krishna's the knower of all bodies. Kshetra Gyayor. He's the knower. So Krishna's enjoying when the devotees enjoy. He's in touch with our consciousness. Krishna's not only in the material bodies. Well, in the spiritual bodies, there's no super soul, but Krishna's actually directly in touch with the conscious because we're part and parcel of Krishna. We're connected to Krishna. So even spiritually, in the spiritual realm, like we're resonating with Krishna at every minute. So Krishna's enjoying our mood as he's also enjoying his mood.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes. Yes, Mata.
So it's not necessarily linked to this lila, but basically the question came from my children, which is that, if the spiritual world is so nice and fully complete in every way, why does Krishna come to earth to have fun? And I told them it's because he can't kill
Yeah, he has set up the spiritual world in such a way that there's certain rasas that just don't take place in the spiritual world, which is like ghastliness.
Yeah.
Just like, even though we generally, you ladies don't like ghastliness, men like it sometimes. Like people go to see horror movies and killing and shooting, isn't it? So it's like a ghastliness. Or people have these video games in which they shoot people up and they're whatever. That's ghastliness. So certain things you can enjoy in the spiritual world, such as humor. That could be enjoyed in the spiritual world. But ghastliness, and anger to the extent that you actually have in the material world, that cannot be enjoyed. Krishna playing with someone and killing someone.
So my kids are using that to justify,
Uh-oh.
Mom, let us just have fun, because Krishna comes to have fun here also. So that's how they use
Well,
it.
they can have fun.
Yeah, but then,
They should have fun. Well, you're not letting them have fun?
No, it's not like that.
You're just like saying, just be a devotee, be calm, and be
No,
a
but,
nice kid,
but it does raise the question of,
No wonder they're such ideal kids. Just wait until they hit puberty. It's just all going to explode.
Fun to explore.
He disciplines her kids. No fun. No fun. Just chant Hare Krishna. You chant your rounds. If you haven't chanted your rounds, you're not going to eat. I know you.
I wish, no, but it's not like that. No, it does raise the question of why, anyway.
Why what?
Why does
Why not let your children have fun is my question.
They have fun, Guru Maharaj. They have a lot of fun.
So Krishna wants to have fun, we should have fun. But there's certain things we can't do. We can't go around killing people. like Krishna creating rivers of blood where heads are floating on them. That's pretty ghastly, isn't it?
Mm.
You have Parashuram creating lakes of blood. But you see sometimes that even in the male psychology it's like that too. In the mature world it's reflected by men sometimes doing really ghastly things. And I'm not justifying that. So the reflection, I can't justify the reflection, but the source of all that is actually in Krishna. Because if something exists here, it must ultimately exist in the Supreme Personality of God in its original, pure, pristine state. So, but it's not that we imitate Krishna, but yeah, we're supposed to have fun.
But if it's so good, then and Krishna is all good.
Yeah.
Why does he have to come and do it in the material world? Why can't he do it in the spiritual world?
Because that's the way he's decided to do things.
Krishna.
You know, that's why do you ask Krishna? Why don't you ask Krishna why he decided to do things like
Because
that?
you know what? For me, it
But how can you do things in the spirit? How can you have killing in the spiritual world?
see, for me,
There's no material bodies.
Yeah.
So the same pastimes that occur with the demons in the material world, where there's the killing, for example, the killing of Arishtashura, in the spiritual world, that pastime is manifest differently. So Arishtashura actually becomes tamed and becomes Lord Shiva's bull, according to the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Or the Keshi demon becomes a horse, which Krishna gives horsey back rides to all of his friends on in the spiritual world. In the material world, Krishna just puts his hand in the mouth, expands his arm, and chokes off Keshi. So, you know, it's just the way Krishna wants things. But you couldn't have killing in the spiritual world, because everyone has a spiritual body. How can you die? There's no blood. You have to understand a male psychology. Sometimes they like to see blood.
See, for
Not me.
So for me, it raises the question that if I
When they take my blood, I look the other way. Because one time I looked at it and I fainted. Did you ever have patients do it? Faint when you're taking the blood?
Yeah.
One time I was at the eye doctor and they were just testing the pressure on the eye, and the next thing I knew I was on the ground because I had fainted. Doesn't happen anymore. That's a Russ.
So for me, what I'm thinking is, if I manage to go back to Goloka Vrindavan,
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody who makes it back to the spiritual world, you're supposed to be completely satisfied and happy there and be so engrossed
Yes.
that, there's no space to think of anything else.
Yeah.
And you're completely happy.
Yeah.
But then, if Krishna comes to the material world to have fun, won't we also want to come to the material world to have fun?
To serve him. We just want to do whatever pleases Krishna. Our mood is different. Our mood, the mood of the Jiva soul, is whatever gives Krishna pleasure we'll do. And we're the enjoyers of Bhakti Ras. And of course, while we're enjoying Bhakti Ras, we can also enjoy these other rasas, even the indirect rasa. Like Arjuna. Chivalry,
Yeah.
anger, ghastliness. He was enjoying all these things. But the primary point is he's enjoying them, but his primary motivation is to please Krishna. And that's the message of the Bhagavad Gita. That, do your service according to your psychophysical nature, but do it in a way to please Krishna. Whereas Krishna, but also you have to understand, Krishna's enjoyer of ras is always in relationship to his interactions with the jiva souls or his energies. So it's not that he's not enjoying by himself. It's not like Krishna goes to the shooting place. Sometimes people go and just target practice or something like that. You understand what I'm talking about? That's someone enjoying by himself. Shooting, taking his gun and shooting at a bullseye or something like that, at a target. So Krishna's enjoying by interacting with his devotees and associates and energies simultaneously. So this enjoyment of rasa is never alone for Krishna. It's always with others.
But does that mean you're saying that we shouldn't be target practicing?
We shouldn't be what?
Target practicing?
No, I'm not saying that.
Uh,
Target practicing is fine. I mean, if you have to practice using a gun, are you doing that?
no, I did it not for pleasure. More just, you never know. You know, you live in a material world. There's
Yeah,
always
yeah. I
dangers.
mean, I did that when I was young. Never hit an animal, but I used to tin cans, you know,
Yeah,
do that.
just for your own
No, there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is that Krishna's interactions are always his particular interactions. They're not just with inanimate objects. He's interacting. His ras is always with living entities.
And that's why, like that question that Ratnaleka asked, you know, with the bodies of others, because he's enjoying their consciousness. And
Yeah, yeah.
Rasa
I mean,
Raj.
yeah, Krishna's enjoying ras with living entities, not with inanimate matter. Yeah, what we do, you know, sometimes we have to, I mean, I drive a car. So I'm enjoying my ras, whatever. Ras. That's not a ras. Actually, ras, the one, Prabhupada said one can only enjoy ras with members of the, this is also an interesting thing, exchange ras with members of the same species. So then one may say, but what about my dog? I'm enjoying ras. No, you're not. What you're thinking, the dog is thinking or feeling this, because it's not really an exchange of ras at that particular point. And the dog is thinking, you know, whatever, you know, if I butter this guy up, you know, he'll feed me nicely. The dog, you think the dog is thinking I'm the eternal servant of Krishna Chandra or something like that? He's not thinking like that. Yeah. Manda Janmani, Janmaneshware, Krishna Chandra, whatever it is. So that's not really an exchange of ras. Ras exchange, Prabhupada made that point actually very clearly. Ras exchange can only be done with members of the same species. And so, in the spiritual world, everyone is the same species because there's, even though their bodies appear differently, because they're all souls. But here, we're not all members of the same species. You know, like my brother, for example, he had, what was it, a turtle, pet turtle. And he thought he was exchanging ras with the turtle. He would kiss the turtle. You know, big, fat mouth. And you know, the turtle's head is about this big. Can you imagine, it's like some monster from the Ramayana. Kabanda, you know. Imagine how this poor the turtle's thinking, he loves me. Right? You know. So that's not an exchange of ras. Although my brother was thinking like that, you know, this, oh, it's a loving exchange I'm having with my pet. But Krishna's exchanges and enjoyment is always with other living entities. There's nothing wrong with us target practicing. That's a different category, you know.
No, I was just asking because I do like when you said about pets, I do house sitting and I do look after the people's animals when they're away.
No, that's fine, but it's not ras. I mean, it's just like
But I know.
we can love them as spirit souls, but exchange of ras is like an exchange of ras. All right, enough Maya today. So.